I can't decide if it's exciting or sad because this will be the last episode of the Mom Guilt podcast. Welcome back, you guys. First of all, I just woke up from a nap. So if I look and sound groggy, that's why. Second, this is a really special episode. I can't decide if it's exciting or sad because this will be the last episode of the Mom Guilt podcast. Now, whether that means we rebrand and we come back, I'm not sure, or if it's just the end of podcasting for me. I guess I feel like I have so much to say. I actually don't even have an outline that I forgot to introduce myself. I'm your host, Vanna. Currently, it is the Mom Guilt podcast. If we come back, it will be something totally different. But there's a few things that I want to touch on in this last episode. This has been an amazing journey. I literally don't even have an outline. This is like a planning calendar, and I wrote down a few bullet points because I was like, I want to make sure I touch on a few things in this last episode and that it continues to be something valuable, even though it's kind of coming to a close. I want to start with why this came about. I think you guys have heard me say, if you've been here for a little bit, you've heard me say, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to keep doing this. And then if you know me personally, I maybe even asked for you to pray for that, because when we started the podcast, we started it from a place of really being lost and feeling like I didn't have a voice, but I wanted to make one for myself. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to let people know my thoughts. And then throughout the whole year, which is something really cool that I can go back and listen to and listen to the change in my, voice and my heart and my journey with the Lord, that the closer I got with the Lord, the more I was like, I don't feel like I need to say anything and put noise out into the world. I always said, I want this to be a community and a space where people grow and become better people. And that remains true. But I just don't feel like when I would go to think about things to talk about, it would just be hard because it's there's only certain things I want to talk about and only certain things that matter. And I don't know if people want to hear about that over and over and over. I mean, it would quite honestly turn into just a faith spiritual podcast because it's quite honestly all that I care about anymore. So that's one thing. Secondly, you've heard me say this too, especially in our chat series with Ari, that this is a labor of love. Lots of podcasts are very profitable. And usually when you get to 100 episodes, that's when things, if it's a successful podcast, it'll start to snowball. And you have to put that work in for it to start making money. And that can be through ads, that can be through sponsors, that can be through affiliates. And thus far, I have not made a dime off of this podcast, which is perfectly fine. I've loved it. I've loved all the people that I've met, the guests, but it costs money to keep it running. I'm talking a couple thousands out of my pocket. And there's no way I could also physically do it without Ari, my producer, who coordinates the guests and she edits it, posts it, runs the Instagram. I physically couldn't do that with my full-time job. And then I still work with ClearStem. It would just be impossible. I wouldn't have any time to myself, family, with the Lord. And that's not going to take priority.
If you have acne and you have tried everything, I have something for you. So as a dermatology nurse practitioner, I've seen the patients on birth control, spironolactone, Accutane, tretinoin, antibiotics, oral antibiotics, or topical antibiotics. Maybe you're one of those people that have tried prescriptions, all the skincare products, and even the chemical peels. And here you are wondering if you'll have to live with acne for the rest of your life because it always comes back, or you want to get off of these prescriptions. So I have a solution for you. Give me 1 hour. I've created a Skincare 101 training that will discuss acne-safe skincare with no pore clogging ingredients and how to get to the root cause of why you have acne symptoms so you can start your journey to lasting clear skin. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram because I talk a lot on there about acne and acne-safe products. Head to yourskincareexpert.com/skincare 101 training, and you can also find the link in the show notes. See you in the training. We all love Amazon, but we've also heard nightmare stories of receiving faulty skincare products, right? That's why I purchase many of my skincare products from dermstore.com, like my Color Science Flex that I talk about all the time on socials because I literally wear the tinted SPF almost every single day. It is acne safe, a mineral SPF, and doubles as makeup. I mean, what more can you want? And if you're going to splurge on your skincare, you might as well do it knowing you're getting the real deal. I can always trust dermstore.com is a verified distributor of all brands on their site from high-end to affordable. Of course, I have a code for you to use at dermstore.com, dermstore.com. You're going to use code VANNA, VANNA, for 15% off qualifying purchases. That is 15% off with code VANNA, VANNA, at dermstore.com. Finding the right moisturizer can be a challenge, especially if you have oily or maybe you have dehydrated skin. I have been on the search for the perfect lightweight moisturizer, and I have found it. Hydroglow from Clearstem Skincare. I love the Clearstem product line because they are a clean and acne-safe brand. But even if you are not acne prone, I swear my skin has never looked better when using their products. The absolute holy grail for me, though, is Hydroglow. It is a lightweight but hydrating moisturizer with bakuchiol, stem cells, and squalane. So think anti-aging, hydrating, and perfect for all skin types. I personally use this every night as my moisturizer and sometimes during the day under my SPF when I need a little extra hydration. You can use code VANNAPADILLA, VANNA, PADILLA for 15% off at clearstem.com. That's code VANNAPADILLA, VANNA, PADILLA at clearstem.com.
So those are also reasons, but the biggest reason, and I hope someone takes something from this, is that we thought we were pregnant. And I'll go into that a little bit, but we thought we were pregnant, and then I started to be like, well, like if I'm going to take a maternity leave, I will have an income, and it won't be hard to have a maternity leave because I'm part-time at my other job, and I wouldn't get like any type of pay during that. So I was like, if I just, I've prayed and I've prayed about like if I should continue the podcast, and I feel like it's time to just kind of let it go. Like it's not gaining traction as far as like a following, being profitable, and now there is a reason that I do need the finances back. So that was in March, and around 8 to 9 weeks, we started telling people that we were pregnant. I hadn't met with my provider yet because of my schedule, quite honestly, but they were like, we can go ahead and do an early ultrasound, and then we'll get you set up with us. So at 9 weeks, which was about 2 weeks ago, we went to the ultrasound, and I told Brian before we even left the house, I was like, something doesn't feel right. Like, I don't feel good about this. And he was like, why? Like, I think you're just like hormonal and overreacting. I was like, okay. So we go to the appointment and we're doing the ultrasound. Mind you, this is not my provider. It's just third party because it was closer to home. Like there's a lot of circumstances that are like leading up to, because a lot of people were like, why did they do this? Or why didn't they do that? Well, they're not my provider. They were just a third party ultrasound. So we do an abdominal ultrasound and there was no heartbeat. There is a little baby in there and we saw the baby. The baby was not moving at all. And here's the thing, like I have two other children. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, which is going to be a great age gap. But we were super excited because we felt like the Lord has been so redemptive in our lives and our marriage that like this would have been such a redemptive thing, because when we had children, we were not good places personally within our marriage. And like, we thought like, oh, this is like our like do-over. We were excited. And I think I was just so shocked, or even like I knew it because of that feeling I had, that the ultrasound, or the sonographer is what you'd call, she was so sweet. And I feel for her too, because having to do that and like tell a parent that has to be so hard. But she came back, or she was like, I'm going to go ask the provider, which I'm guessing was the MD there. Usually if we cannot find an abdominal heart or an abdominal ultrasound heartbeat this early, we do a transvaginal. And I'm going to have you use the restroom and I'm going to go ask the provider. And then when she came back and I came back, she was like, they just said it's not necessary. And I don't know if that's because they saw something on the ultrasound that was so indicative that the pregnancy was not viable. Because like I said, we've had 2 children and I remember having 2 ultrasounds. I don't remember when they were, but I remember like the baby being so wiggly and it was really early. Like they didn't look like a baby yet, but they were super wiggly. And this baby on the ultrasound was not moving at like no movement whatsoever. Which, I mean, I don't know. There's some things that I've read, because I've gone to Google, which I tell all my patients not to do. But there's so many things, and I have a best friend that has someone that works like in an OBGYN office, and they were like, no, like you can't, sometimes babies don't move that early. Sometimes you cannot do a abdominal ultrasound. Like you cannot see a heartbeat until like 12 weeks on some people, depending on their like placental placement. But I know they looked at that. So they probably were like, her placenta is not anterior and XYZ. So like there's no need. This was 2 weeks ago. This may be too TMI for you guys, but I feel like this is what I've always said. I'm going to be super honest with you guys, and it is what it is. And I bet you I'll be able to go back and listen to this and appreciate it. Just like she gave me like the ultrasound photos and was like, you may not want these now, but I bet you will in the future. But I still haven't bled. I feel okay. And we started doing serial HCG, which is like pregnancy hormone draws on Monday. It was 116,000. And usually at 10 weeks, it's supposed to be anywhere from like, I think like 20,000 to 200,000. So like it's within range. And then 3 days later, it was 106,000. So it dropped a little bit. But then again, I've heard that it can plateau, or seen that it can plateau from 8 to 12 weeks and then drop just a little and then stay there the rest of your pregnancy. So like we're either dropping and we're miscarrying, which is what my provider's office has said. Again, I've not seen them at all. So I know it's hard to go off of anything. But we're just waiting. And I'm praying that, and I know the Lord has something for me in this waiting. It does suck. And there were a few days where I was a mess, but it's okay to be like that in times like this. Like, I think people get there's a misconception that people that have a strong faith, that they're just happy all the time, or that even through hard times, like they're not sad or sorrowful. But like the Bible doesn't even say that. Like there are even times where Jesus was sorrowful. And it says in the Bible that like when you are, he bottles every single tear. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. I mean, I'm not angry at all. Like I thankfully through this process have not been like, why God? Or like, I'm so mad at you. I think because I trust him so much, which is a blessing because I know certain things like this. And listen, I've not had repeated. I did have a 5-week miscarriage in between Graham and Wells. But I feel like this was totally different to be able to see the baby and there wasn't a heartbeat. It's a little different. And then it's just a little different for everybody. When you have repeated ones or you're further along or you have a stillbirth, like we have best friends that lost a baby at 27 weeks. And, you know, that's the first thing we said, like, can you imagine what they went through? Because I think situations like this will either make or break your faith. Like you'll either walk away from it or it'll draw you closer. And I feel like it's drawn me closer, which I'm super thankful for. But yeah, we're just waiting. And it helps to have a really supportive husband. This is what happened like 2 years ago in our marriage. Like, I don't even know. Like I would have felt so alone. But in having the marriage that we have now, like Brian's been the most understanding, kind, supportive, checks on me, like, are you okay? So that's huge. Like if anyone were to ask me, like, how are you not just like a mess or an emotional wreck or, you know, in this waiting period of like what's going to happen? First and foremost, my relationship with the Lord. Second, a strong marriage. And then third, also all the other support around us, like our small group in our church, our closest friends that are like family to us. It's just been, we felt a lot of love through it. So I didn't plan on talking about this in the last episode. I was actually going to record this last episode like a week or two ago, and then all of this started happening, and I would ask that you would pray for me and my family during this time, but also that the direction of this podcast, because I do love it. I love doing stuff like this. I feel like I can just, this may not be a good thing, talk to a wall about things, and I feel like I have things that I can talk about, you know, whether that's in functional medicine, whether that's skincare, makeup, my faith, like there's so many things I can talk about and I love it. And when I was recording in studio with Ari, like I was like, I meant to do this. But I do feel like there needs to be a little bit of a pivot, whether that's a rebrand or maybe it's just like a YouTube channel talking about like people healing their acne holistically. Like there's a lot of things that run through my mind. I don't know what this would be if we come back. But praying for that clarity in that direction. And I do feel like this is the right choice for now, as hard as it is and how much I've invested time and money into it. But I don't feel like it was for nothing. I hope, because I would have a lot of people reach out at certain episodes and say, you know, that really helped me. And that was what it was all about. In closing, I would ask for your prayers. Thank you for everyone. I know there are some people out there that have listened to every single episode. They're like our closest friends. I love you guys. And last but not least, Ari and Chase. I'm not going to get emotional for the whole thing except for this maybe because I feel like I've had so much support. And we only met each other once in person. But I feel so supported by both Ari and Chase, who are my editors and producers. Started out just editing, and then they produced it. And anyone that pours into this as much as I did when you didn't have to, I'm just super appreciative. And I hope we will come back. I thank you for just always being there. With that, thanks for listening to this episode, and maybe I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Love you.